Okay, let's dive into this. Most people completely misunderstand this idea. They genuinely think tech giants have this brilliant, evil master plan to control the world. But this explainer argues something dangerous but true. There is absolutely no master plan. So if you believe big tech executives are these calculating Machiavellian geniuses, well, prepare to have your assumptions completely challenged. Is big tech actually evil, or are they just careless? That is the exact question posed by Sarah Wynn-Williams in her explosive memoir, Careless People. As a former director of global public policy at Facebook, she had a literal front-row seat to the empire, and her core thesis completely shifts the paradigm. She discovered that the real threat we're facing wasn't corporate malice at all. It was sheer childish incompetence and really just lethal carelessness. To set the stage for all of this, she perfectly frames her experience with this famous F. Scott Fitzgerald quote from The Great Gatsby. They were careless people. They smashed up things and creatures and then retreated back into their money or their vast carelessness and let other people clean up the mess they had made. This right here is the overarching theme. These leaders didn't set out to fracture societies on purpose. They just let other people clean up the massive messes they made while they were busy chasing growth. Takeaway 1. The idealism trap. And this brilliantly illustrates the real divide. Publicly, employees were handed this Mao-style little red book with a grand mandate to make the world more open and connected. Sounds great, right? But internally, the reality was entirely different. It was just growth at all costs. That utopian mission was essentially a shiny cover for a relentless, metric-driven machine of American tech innovation. Just how powerful was this growth machine? Take the number 340,000. Back in 2010, the company ran an internal experiment, quietly placing an I voted button right at the top of users' news feeds. This single, tiny experiment successfully drove 340,000 additional people to the polls. It proved the terrifying, world-altering power of what they had built. It wasn't just a website, it was a literal behavioral modification engine. But here's the part most people miss. If the idealism was fake, who was actually pulling the strings? If this wasn't a benevolent mission to connect everyone, who were the people in charge of this godlike power? Takeaway 2. The leadership mask. Now, what's really interesting about this is how the author deconstructs the chief operating officer's famous lean-in philosophy to reveal a startling paradox. Publicly, Sheryl Sandberg championed hard conversations and honesty, but privately, she would arbitrarily humiliate her staff. She preached feminism, yet demanded unpaid office housework from female employees just for her book launch. She claimed to perfectly balance motherhood, all while secretly being supported by multi-million-dollar safety nets. It's a stark portrait of how carefully crafted celebrity masks can completely eat into a person's face. To explain exactly why executives behave this way, the author coins a powerful concept: the thick, opaque dome. It's basically a murky fortress of immense wealth and insulated power that separates tech leadership from the real-world consequences of their actions. They lived in this environment where assistants bought their clothes, they booked their private jets, and handled everything. They literally could not, and would not, take responsibility for the societal damage they were causing because they were entirely shielded by this dome. But what happens when the dome cracks? What happens when this insulated, fundamentally careless leadership collides with fragile global democracies? Prepare yourself, because this is where the story shifts from dramatic corporate gossip to an actual global crisis. Takeaway 3. The architecture of apathy. Let's move to and see how this builds through a rapid succession of completely ignored warnings. In 2011, they blatantly disregarded German regulators' privacy concerns, treating them like a joke. By 2014, leadership stumbled blindly into meetings with the Myanmar junta, completely ignoring very complex human rights warnings. Fast forward to 2016, and the CEO infamously dismissed the suggestion of election interference as a crazy idea. And by 2017, they were actively drafting documents to help promote the China Dream for a secret market entry. The author neutrally frames these events not as calculated evil, but as sins of omission. You see, they didn't set out to break the world on purpose. Rather, they broke it because they simply didn't care enough to pay attention, to learn the local politics, or to implement the necessary safeguards. It was a lethal lack of interest in literally anything that didn't drive engagement and revenue. The final cost. So we have to ask the hard question: is the era of lethal carelessness over? So the crucial point is, absolutely not. The company DNA hasn't changed at all.
They might have changed their name, but the leopards haven't changed their spots. The exact same careless people who couldn't be bothered to understand the political realities of Myanmar or the nuances of elections are the exact same people building our future right now.
And that future is artificial intelligence. The author, who actually now works in AI warfare, issues this stark warning. Before this hot war, there is a cold battle over AI already being fought. The exact same open source, move fast, and break things mentality of the Web 2.0 era is now fueling a highly dangerous global AI arms race. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to reconsider everything we've just covered. If we barely survived their careless era of social media, how will we survive their careless era of AI? It's a question that changes everything about how we must view the tech leaders charting our course forward.